grab it from. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Let's Go. Look who I'm with. Tracy, we're in person.
Isn't it so exciting?
I'm so excited here in Florida. So, okay, today's very special episode just because we're together.
It's special because we're together. And this is a preview because perhaps soon it's going to be because we teleported to see each other.
Yeah.
So Renaé did fly this time on a plane.
Yeah.
I like to see all the possibilities.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with last episode, episode 12. If you haven't watched it, you might want to go back and watch it. We were really talking about something, and the earth was holding on to everybody's crap. And Tracy just happened to say, well, can't we just take a sledgehammer to that? And I want you to realize I did not cut that out, the next part. And I was like, oh yeah, look at that. Look at how it's breaking up right now. That's exactly what happens. The minute you say or think something, that actually happens. She said, okay, we just take a sledgehammer to that. And I saw the earth, this big sledgehammer coming down, everything breaking up and going up. So go out and see what else we said about that. But that's such a huge thing for this conversation and any conversation, to be aware of what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing. Because the minute you say something, like if you're like, okay, I can't figure this out. Okay, well, do something about it, right? What do you want to do about it? I don't know. I'm stuck in this field. I'm spinning my wheels. I don't know what to do. If you just say, okay, I want to get out of this, let's take a sledgehammer to it. And you just think, you don't have to say anything out loud, it will immediately break out. If that makes any sense, like the energy to it literally brings down a sledgehammer and starts to break out. And it's up to you to choose, what are you doing with that? Are you going to keep buying into that? You're going to go into another field. If that makes any sense. What do you got on that? Because I know you always got great stories and great things that tie it together.
Yeah. And we've talked about this now a couple times, and also because I've really started to play with it now. When we did that one day, I saw it and it all fractaled out, and it was like, wow, that's so cool and easy and simple, and how can it be so simple? But I think that's a big thing to start wrapping our heads around. We'll let it be that simple. And since then, I could, I want to see more, dig deeper. You can almost see, and I don't necessarily recommend this because I like the clean, just let it go and then walk away, done. But if you find yourself back in like, wait a minute, I thought I broke that, or wait a minute, I thought I did that, which I think we all can, will, might be, because now I've done it a couple times, like, wait, what's going on? That should be gone. I almost fine tune it, whether it's like a looping pattern, or whether it's a programming running, or whether it's a belief system. And not that that really matters,
right?
But for me, I can identify it like, oh my God, that is my pattern. Look at me doing it again. And then I bring out that sledgehammer, or I started seeing a couple different ways of, and Renaé and I just talked about this. It's really all the same thing, but if it resonates more with you, it can either like break off, or I take a little dropper and then I just dissolve it, or it can alchemize into something else. And I find for me, I play with it, which keeps it fun instead of frustrating. And for some reason, sometimes one thing seems more effective than the other. Like, oh no, I'm dissolving that. It's not something I have to shake off. It's just going to dissolve and be done.
I love that. And not only that, because there's so many different ways, every single person is going to come to this a whole different way. What resonates with you? And when you were talking, Tracy, I saw the violet flame coming up. Some people like the violet flame. Some people just like fire in general. Some people like water. What everyone say, okay, I just wash this away. The minute you think that, it's going to happen. It's up to you to pay attention and to be aware of, oh, wait a minute, this is going. And when it comes back around, because in the beginning, it's going to come back around, and it's really not coming back around. They're saying it's really, you're going into the next layer. Because our belief systems are so layered in there.
Yeah, right? I'm so glad you said that. Yes.
Yeah. So go ahead. What were you gonna say about it? Anything?
Well, because I kept getting like, why do you think you're going backwards? You're never going backwards. Like, don't even know. It's always forward motion, even if it's another
Yes.
layer, perspective, something that really flesh it out.
Yeah. When what I love about that is, but when you were talking about that, they said, when you move forward, and we're always moving forward, whether you think you are or not, the minute you think, oh my God, like I had that yesterday, or why am I stuck in this now? The minute you think that, you've already in the next second. You've already moved beyond that. So now what you can ask yourself is, why am I carrying this with me? Why am I carrying it with it? And then what am I going to do with it? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Well, and we can pocket it for a few minutes later, but we also talked about clearing, purging, and the difference
Yeah.
between moving things around and actually getting rid of them. Like, so it's kind of the same
Yeah,
thing. Isn't that
Yep.
interesting?
very. Well, we always come around. Always come in this little circle.
And I would say that's why it's great that Renaé and I can talk to each other, because I think we talk and then I really notice myself doing things. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Why, why am I doing that? And what, like backing way off that whole observer thing. But then what gets even more fascinating is I'm watching everyone else around me and I'm like, wow, look what they're doing. And you can see a lot more clearly once you start to be aware of all this stuff. You really start to notice the people around you, what they're doing and what they're saying. And I feel, we were just talking about this before we started recording, that very exciting. A lot of people are taking action and making motion and changing things around, but you can also notice what is with intention and attention, which really moves the needle, or what's just, I got to move something, I got to change something. And both, I would say, can definitely potentially be beneficial. Because I'll catch myself and, oh, look at me, I'm just reorganizing that stuff. Like, just, I don't know if, but it's always changing. It's still always changing, because anytime there's a movement of energy, there's a movement of energy. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that no, that makes sense. But it is because, and I want you to catch yourself when you realize it, because a lot of people are thinking, oh, I'm moving forward, I'm making this big change in my life. But are you really, like, pay attention? Are you just like Tracy said, are you just moving it around? And I was telling you, like, I'll call it like it is. Like, I am notorious in my office upstairs. It's really a disaster. It's like paperwork all over the place. And I decided the other day, like, okay, I'm gonna finally clear this up before I go to Florida. It's gonna be clear. Oh my God, it is so worse. It's so worse right now. But and I was like, oh, got this paper. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this paper. Like, I'm not really sure. So I had this really neat pile of papers that looked so clean and wonderful. It was awesome. And and it was just looks good. But did I have it, like, I just moved it from here? Well, I moved it from all over here to one big pile, and then to make it look even neater, I put it in a nice file folder.
let's really box it up. So,
But it looks pretty. It's in this really nice orange folder. And then I was like, now where am I putting this folder? Because oh, it's still out here. And I saw a briefcase in the closet. I'm like, oh, I just put it in there because I'll remember that, which, by the way, I will not. So I went to put it in there, and there was another folder in there. I was like, oh, I wonder what this folder is. And I pulled it out, really thick papers. I started going through them. They're from 5 years ago. Like, how embarrassing is that now that I'm saying this? But I was like, good Lord. So I was like, okay, you know what? I have not looked at this. I don't need to look through this anymore. And I threw it away. And it did. It took everything in my power not to go back and start to look through that. And I was like, look, I haven't seen it in 5 years. I clearly don't need it. And then I started to, like, look up on my shelf, and I've got all these, books. Like, if I was teaching Reiki or whatever, I would have the manuals all there. And it always changed. Every time I taught Reiki, I would channel in, every time it changed, totally new, manual for the people. But I've got them all up there. So I was like, oh my God, first of all, I don't even teach that anymore. And what do I do without these? So I threw them out. But it was a matter of finally realizing, recognizing, Look at what a paper hoarder you are. You're so afraid to get rid of things, and you think, oh, look how I'm going through simplicity in my life. The simplicity, really, Renaé, you were putting in a file to put it in your place. That is not simplicity, girlfriend. But it was the awareness of that and starting to recognize and realize, because then I started to look around and be like, what else am I doing this in my life? Like where I think I'm moving forward, but aren't I just sort of like playing that game, just like moving things all around? And then I said, okay, you know what? Because I love when you said that sledgehammer. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the sledgehammer to this because it is a program, it is a pattern, it is a something, whatever it is. You don't need to know what the things are, okay? Whatever this is that is causing me to do this, I'm just taking that sledgehammer and bringing it down, and it is just, releasing everything. Your words don't matter, it's your intention, okay? Because we were
That's,
saying before.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So it's that point of then I could all of a sudden see, I don't know what it was. It was like something, like I felt it in the pit of my stomach. That was like something broke up, something did something. And then when I looked at it energetically, I could see all the particles breaking up and like going into whatever. And I was like, oh my God, so cool. You don't need to see it. You don't need to feel it. The minute you say it, the minute you think it, that will happen. But it's paying attention and recognizing where in your life are you moving things around. If you're somebody that has been talking about the same thing for years and years and years, you're just moving things around, girlfriend or boyfriend. You're just moving them all around. So it's that point of, what are you going to do about it? What are you really doing? Number one, break the pattern, break the program, break whatever it is, bring the sledgehammer, bring the, many other things, to buy the flame, bring water in, bring, Tracy talks about that fluidity all the time. Become fluid. The minute you become fluid with it, the more you say it, the more it happens. You don't have to feel it. You just know that that's what actually happened. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it's going to become more expedient, efficient, I don't know,
Yeah.
to get further away from the words
Mm.
and the explanations. And I've been practicing of, just let it go. And let's just say, I'm worried about something, instead of, I'm like, oh, well, think about our thought. And it's like, well, why don't even think about our thought? Like, just literally let it liquefy. And that's a lot to wrap your head around, but it seems that it is. It's like getting further away from, and trust me, this one's hard for me. No, but I want to know, well, what's happening? Well, what's the energetics? Well, show me, like, show me something. Like, I'm so guilty of that. Like, yeah, I don't need words for it, but I want to see the mechanics. But I've noticed the more so that I'm willing to do that, the more things seem to flow. And
Yeah.
the more in my life, two things. A lot of things don't make sense, aren't adding up, don't work. Well, that's not how it's always behaved. And I'm literally pick a subject and I see it in my life. Whereas, well, that's not how we used to do it. And, why isn't the technology working? And so it has really helped me to not be frustrated when the answer isn't right and there's no one to give you the answer. And I always am like, well, of course not, because it's fluid. And when we're in a state of fluidity, the answers are always changing. It's always, working differently. And I would expect that will accelerate and amplify throughout the year, where all the same things. And I have also, and then when you put your awareness on that, I have heard more people in the past couple weeks being like, I've never seen that before, or that never
Yes, yeah.
happened, or, oh my gosh, they don't know. There's no explanation, from a
Mhm.
plumbing error
Mhm.
to a medical situation, to a technology problem, to the behavior of animals, or I think we're all being kind of positioned, if we're aware, to be kind of primed for what's about to change in a very exciting way, in a super cool way.
Yeah. Well, and start doing this stuff now, because remember we were saying yesterday in the change makers, there's some big energetic shifts coming in the next couple weeks. So, and what is today? Whatever, we're August, the beginning of
4th, yeah.
August 4th. So something's coming by the middle to the end of this month they're saying, and they're showing like all these big, can you see that? Like they're showing all of these big, like everything changing. They're showing animals and water and, the earth and all.
But in a
sorts
big
of-
way, and
yes,
of like,
a
what?
very big
Like
way.
how, what,
Yeah.
how is that even possible?
Right. And for those of you that are thinking, oh my God, this is horrible. No, no,
No.
no, no, no. This is in really good way. And if you feel like if it's happening and you start to, oh my God, this is horrible, that's where you're stuck in that program, that pattern. Change is inevitable. You're going to go kicking and screaming, or you're going to accept it and just go with the flow, become fluid. It's all your choice. So it's a matter of making that choice and recognizing, and I don't know what those things are that are changing, because I can hear it already. People are like, well, what's going on? I don't know. Believe me, I've asked. And I want to know. I'm like, let me know. Give me a little snippet. Let me know, like, what should I be doing? What should we be doing? And they're just saying, it's so big, it's so vast that we will feel what we feel like are big things. They'll say, they're saying they're so tiny compared to what's really happening.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be like huge for the entire world. This, big changes coming. So get ahead of it. Start to recognize and be aware. Have you been talking about doing something for years and you're still talking about that same thing? Or even for weeks? Have you been, thinking about doing something and really haven't? Just make one little step in that movement forward. And, what I'm hearing is if everybody could just run water, because water's, easy, everybody could just run water through themselves, you will be amazed at how different it is. So when you go to bed or something and you're like, okay, look, I'm just running water over and through me to become fluid, become my fluid self. Now, notice when you're saying that, you're not a particular anything, like, oh, I'm breaking the pattern, I'm doing whatever. They're saying you're not fixing anything, you're becoming. So become that fluidity. Didn't we say something about becoming?
Yes, because because I have 5 books written and I was like, oh, I'm not writing a book this year because
Yeah.
we're just going to talk because it's a year of becoming. It's not to necessarily be documented, and to really embrace that becoming. Like that's a big,
Yeah.
you have to become it. And this is where I love this happens. My daughter was away on a weekend for a cruise and whatever, there was some stuff, and I don't really do energy work on a lot of people anymore because I just hold like this field of pure presence. But I just said to her the other day, I'm going to keep, and I said the energy running through you, but I was running water through her. And the fact, this is where it gets
See?
crazy.
Yeah.
And it was, and I even am like, oh, that's nice. And I am always selfish. I'm like, well, I'm going to do that to me too. Like, that's awesome. Like,
Right.
but you can see it now. And what
Yes.
got really cool, and so much of what we say, because we did some work on the water down in Florida the other day,
Yeah.
remember on
Yep.
Thursday, and
Mhm.
we did something and I watched it. It looked like a kaleidoscope and it started changing. And then these prismatic colors and reflections started to come in. So it's so much more than water. It just was, so much was involved in it. When I was running water through my daughter, I could see, and I'll use words that would, I could see the colors start to fractal, and it's like they reflecting and all these things. And of course, codes and intelligence. And it starts to get really cool, but then also knowing that really amazing stuff's going to start to happen. Who knows what that is, but you might as well keep playing in it and intending the super coolest of it all.
Exactly. Well, and I think it has to be. I think you have to expect, like, and they're showing the stuff up like that. People have this expectation of change is not going to be good. And this whole expectation, I don't really know what exactly they're showing there, but it's this, they just keep showing like roots pulling people down. Like I have to stay in this field. And they're saying the minute you're running water through you to become fluid, they're saying that is going to have such a huge wave effect for your whole life. Because if you're fluid, and they're saying eventually what happens is nothing bothers you. But you're in the flow of life. You're in the flow of everything. And then everything you think, oh, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do this, and what should I do? All of a sudden you're no longer trying to do anything. It might be something completely different you start doing because you've been stuck on trying to think example, like, okay, you'd be stuck in, I'm gonna start an energy business. I'm gonna start doing energy. And you've been trying and talking about that forever. All of a sudden you're like, oh my God, no, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Yeah, I feel drawn to whatever. I feel drawn to writing. And obviously you start writing because you were stuck in that field and you couldn't move forward on this because that wasn't part of your path, at least not yet. You're supposed to be doing whatever, B, what you would consider B, which is really A, to get into B. So if you're recognizing, I feel like I'm rambling because I'm like, wait, guys, they're leaving. And I'm like, wait, I didn't finish that thought. Bring it back. So if you're, rubbing your reels, whatever the hell it is, and you are still thinking you should be doing something, stop, feel it, take it, become fluid again, just keep running that water through. And then during the day, you can just keep saying like, yep, water run through me. And I had set the intention a long time ago when I was teaching Reiki, I had set the intention that anytime any water hit me, it ran over, because I was thinking about rain, right? And I was like, okay, well, but then I said any water that touches me cleanses and purifies my entire system, with the intention of, that means it's cleaning out anything that I don't need, that I no longer need. It's, bringing up whatever, the pure self, whatever you want to call it. And I'm telling you, when I wash my hands, when I take a shower, when I get caught in the rain, like, I don't ever care. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm being purified. Like, oh, this is awesome. So during the day, if you feel like you're stuck, you run the water through you. Even if you don't feel it, trust me when I say things are happening, and you are here on this earth for something way bigger than you think. We are all making very wonderful big changes in an energetic field, as well as a conscious level field, they're saying. So never underestimate who or what you are. You're here for powerful, powerful things. And if you think you're not a piece in the part of the puzzle, you are a huge piece in the part of the puzzle. So get that right. And remember that. Anything else?
Well, also you were saying, I think on the change, I feel like I've heard a couple people talk recently about the significance of the waters.
Yes.
And to bring in just some, I guess, practicality, so much has been happening with the waters, flooding and earthquakes. And it is a sign of the massive shifts and change. Like sometimes I actually will start, what's going on with the the solar flares and the Schumann resonance and all that stuff. And it is kind of, I don't get tied up too much in anything astrology, or truth be told, I don't retain enough of it to speak eloquently about it.
Me neither.
But there is change. I mean, and there's like kind of unprecedented change going on, which again, back to the exciting, because if we can steward it in a way that is cool, evolution, it's great. And I always find it interesting that when things happen that are of a monumental, like technology, the cell phone, the first time, someone flew in the air in an airplane, that, cars driving themselves, we kind of, by the time it happens, I guess it's titrated in so slowly that you don't even question how profound of a shift in beliefs that is, and possibility. We just kind of adapt it and accept it. And I always say to my children, you guys have no idea what it was like when we, were in school. We didn't have phones or computers. Like we used maps and went to the library and looked stuff up in books. And I'm sure that sounds so archaic to them. Like, how did you even function? And sometimes I'm like,
Right.
how did we function?
Right.
Like, how did that happen? Like we were so ill, like,
Yeah.
what limited resources we
Yes.
had.
But we didn't know any better.
We didn't.
Right? Like,
Well, I don't know. I would argue life was pretty great most of the time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's why it's so exciting, the possibilities that are coming down. And of course, I'm like, what? Can we have an example? Like, I don't know. Of course, I know the flying part is going to come in because,
Yeah.
but just that I like to think of that. Like, of course, it's unthinkable to the minute it's not, and then it's just normal. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
everyone does that.
Yeah.
So just to put a spin of excitement, of the cool stuff that's to coming. And I just think it's beneficial just start having awarenesses of all the cool changes happening and working with it and being more fluid
Mhm.
to everything that is happening. I feel like I had a point. Oh, you know what I was going to say? Anytime I have an ache or pain in the body or something going on, and I feel like I ebb and flow, and I just always feel like, wow, I'm going through a big shift. Like, put it to the positive, because
Well, well,
thought and energy follow thought and energy. So, and then and I'm like, I don't know though, that really isn't comfortable, or that really hurts, and then I do run the water through it, like,
See?
or making it more so break the boundaries. Like, why don't focus on the density, make it fluid, like just putting that attention to all the things.
Mhm.
And it's fun, and it is a process. And I think the more you play, the more it's reflected back to you, the more you see, the more you can adjust. I will say, I've been whining to Renaé. It seems like every day, if not multiple times weekly, I have something that charges my nervous system. And now I have a lot of things going on and a lot of different elements, but so it's like, oh my gosh, there's always a thing, and it zings my nervous system. But we were talking about it, and I really think that it's really stabilizing us, because I was kind of looking at it the wrong way, like, oh my gosh, can I just get a break? Whether, I find some bad news, or it's just, businesses, bad stories are happening to people, and stuff like that. But if you can kind of flip it, and the energy is changing, and I'm just trying to recalibrate all the time. Like, oh, okay, I gotta recalibrate. Oh, got it. And then with Renaé's help and advice, I'm like, oh, okay, phew, now I'm solid here. And okay, we're gonna give you another zing. And I'm like, okay, now I can recalibrate here. But there's a lot, I think I'm just saying there's a lot of, I'm used to zany stuff happening all the time, but even I'm like, wow, stuff is
Yeah.
really
Lately.
changing a lot and quickly. Ride the wave.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about that, and I'm glad you had said that, is notice when she said recalibrate. The minute you say, if you don't like the running the water through, you're like recalibrate, because they're saying you're going to do basically the same thing. Okay, they're saying they're two totally different things, but as you're recalibrating, what are you doing? You're becoming a little fluid, they're saying. Right, if you're running the water through you, it's going to recalibrate you as well. But if you say, run the water through me, and or I'm becoming fluid, this, if you want, whatever word you want to use. Okay, so if you say I'm becoming fluid, they're saying you'll recognize eventually the recalibration will go right in there together. And you notice how my finger did that, and then it came back down. Like, I'm always very, very paying attention to what movements they have me do. Because when it hit, notice there was a bump in the road, and then it immediately levels itself out.
Mhm.
Because especially right now, and that's why I was so glad you brought that up, especially right now, if you're getting hit over and over and over and over, and you're like, oh my God, when am I gonna catch a break? It is exactly what you said, to recalibrate the nervous system. We are now getting hit with some things, and believe me when I say, they're saying the next few weeks, a lot of us are gonna get hit, because you're in the forefront. Those of us in the forefront are going to stabilize and neutralize the nervous systems. The nervous system, they're saying, was brought upon our physical forms to be a separation in the body, to keep us human, to keep us in the human field. We're not human. We're not. We're this beautiful, energetic being of light, connected to and a piece and a part of everything. So we're saying, so now as we are shifting this whole point of getting out of the human system and programs and all that stuff, we're going to get hit, because exactly what you were doing, we need to neutralize this. I need to recalibrate and neutralize this whole thing. So they're saying, which I think is, well, whatever, I'll just say what they're saying, regardless of what I think it is. Because they're saying, so if you go to bed at night and you're like, okay, I'm becoming fluid, or I'm running water through me, and then in the morning you're like, okay, I recalibrate. Yes, you're recalibrated, but in the morning when you say recalibrate, remember, When you went to bed, you are completely, they're saying every single person is completely different when you wake up in the morning to when you went to bed, regardless if you did anything or nothing at all. Then every single moment is an energetic shift that you have changed, you have shifted to what you are. The world is shifting and changing second by second by second. So what are you gonna drag with you? You're gonna drag this stuff with you or gonna let it go? But they're saying, so if you're becoming fluid, they're saying the recalibration is gonna come together, you're gonna reunite, and then you're gonna be really, really close, and the nervous system is not going to be as triggered. You're not going to, like, crazy shit will happen, you'll be like, huh, isn't that interesting? That must need, which is always reminds you of you, like, huh, isn't that interesting? It's so good at that. And you're going to be holding the space for everybody else going through that. But because we have all, whatever, recalibrated, become fluid in whatever the heck it is, we're doing, because we're doing that, it's waving out. And again, they're not showing just energy going out how they used to show, which was interesting. Notice, like, it's the wave. It's like everything's waving out because everything is going to become fluid. I hope that made sense, because it didn't make sense in my brain.
No, I think so.
Good. Anything else?
No.
Yeah. Many of them say just pay attention to food. Pay attention to what you want to eat, because that's going to change, that's going to shift. Do not eat just because you want to eat. If you're eating, we talked about this,
We
right?
just,
Let's
yes,
talk about this. If you're eating like heavier foods or just things you didn't normally eat, you need to do that because you're going through an energetic shift. You need more substance in your body to go through this lighter shift, which doesn't make any sense at all to
we were just saying that. How does that make sense? But
exactly. But they're saying that's what is happening. And if you're not eating as much, you're like, oh my God, I'm not hungry. If you're paying attention, because they're saying if you're aware, a lot of us are going to be aware that we're not eating as much. Or we're, oh my God, I'm only having one meal a day. What the heck is that? Or I eat the tiniest thing, I'm full. They're saying that's okay. That too is an energetic shift within the physical form, shifting into an energetic field, which is breaking down the human components of being human. So that's a really exciting thing. Like, holy crap, that's exciting.
it is exciting.
Yeah, like,
And it's such an interesting study of yourself and others of how many times we do eat just because, well, it's time or
Right.
everyone's eating. So aren't you hungry? You know?
yeah,
And to just be like, wow, I'm really not. Like, and that's weird because
Right.
I should be hungry because
and isn't that how people get together? Oh, let's get together. Let's get together over breakfast. Let's get together over lunch, over dinner, whatever. It's like, so that you eat because and you're not hungry. So pay attention, and then just be like, yeah, you know what? No, I'm not really that hungry. If you feel comfortable with it, like we never have a problem. We're like,
yeah.
hungry, I'm all good.
And go with the crazy. I was saying, I don't even, for some reason, I just want hash browns and these sausage for breakfast. And it's stuff that I
normally don't eat.
know. I'm like, what? I'm like, I gotta go buy hash browns again. You know what I mean? Like crazy. That's not that crazy, but it's
Crazy
just
for you.
for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just totally honoring it. My daughter came home the other day and she's like, are you eating frozen French fries out of the oven? I'm like, yes, they are so good. She's like, okay.
But
But
what happened to my mother?
exactly. So go with it. Or I don't know. I'm going with it. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. So just pay attention, be more aware of things and become fluid, and always remember, it's always a choice. It's your choice. What are you choosing to do? What are you choosing to carry with you every moment, every morning when you wake up? What am I bringing with me today? Or better yet, what is my day going to be? Like, I'm choosing not to carry anything with me. I'm starting my day fresh and new and move into that, and see if every time you're thinking something that you would perceive as negative or heavy or whatever, see if you can flip that around. And if you can't, just say, okay, I flipped this to the opposite. Because the minute you do that, the energy of your body will flip to the opposite. It knows. And then, you can choose to do whatever you want to do. You follow that, or, carry something through. But it's your choice. And the more you're doing it, the more you're flipping it, the easier it's going to become to change whatever it is.
Did we ever talk, and maybe we'll do this for the next one, the whole piece of judgment versus boundaries?
No, I don't think we did.
That'll be a good one. We can
Yeah.
save that for next.
Okay.
Because
You heard it right here first. The next one.
yes, because I was always, I'm being more and more mindful because I'm defining more and more boundaries. Of I'm not buying into that. I'm not putting up with that. And then there's a lot of stuff that we as a society, well, that's what you do and that's how we do it. And then I'm like, yeah, but I'm not gonna do that. And I thought I was being judgy, but it was like, no, you don't give away your, and not crazy stuff, but trying to think of examples because I brought it up with you. I'm like, gosh, am I just
Yeah.
really being judgy lately?
Yeah. And it was did I put some of that on 12? I think I might
Well,
have
maybe
put it
you
on
did.
episode 12. We might have done that. Well, if not, well, either way, we'll probably revisit that. And if you guys have any questions or anything, like throw them in the chat and, we'll answer them. And again, I'm going to throw this out there again. If anybody feels like a live or, live through Zoom, call would be great with a group of people and you guys can ask questions that are really more covering for the collective, how to shift, how to change, do that kind of stuff. Let us know because we're more than happy to do that and put the link out there and have everybody join us and answer your questions, because I think that would be very helpful and useful. I know we did this before and nobody said yes, so we'll see what happens. But anything else?
I'm good. Nope. Have fun.
Yeah.
Be fluid.
I'm gonna have you do this to get the
Oh,
exit.
okay.
And remember, choices at the exit way over in the
Oh,
corner.
yeah.
What's your choice?
Yes,
Yeah,
and I
choose
think
wisely.
that is so relevant right now. In the toughest situations, you can always still choose to be compassionate and loving and kind without having to lose your boundaries. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Choose wisely.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna have to now hit
Yeah.
another thing too when you hit that.
Okay.
Renee's,
Renee's,
I'm not a back person. Yeah, there you
okay.
go.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.